Welcome back, managers and professionals. So today we are diving into this masterclass explainer on prompt engineering. But look, we're not going to treat artificial intelligence like some magic trick or a passing fad. No, we are framing this as the ultimate test of your corporate communication and delegation skills. I mean, have you ever stared at a blinking cursor, asked an AI to write a super simple email, and gotten back this completely robotic 5-paragraph essay? Yeah, we've all been there. If you've ever felt totally frustrated by those kinds of answers, you are in the exact right place. We're going to completely transform the way you manage your digital tools today. Okay, let's dive into this.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the AI delegation dilemma, then move right into managing your digital employee. Next, we'll unpack the 4-part communication framework, look at some real-world case studies in delegation, highlight common managerial mistakes, and finally, I'm going to give you your first management challenge.
All right, section 1, the AI delegation dilemma. Let's talk about that incredibly common workplace frustration. You know the one. You ask an AI for something, and it hands you back a completely, utterly useless response. But then, you try again, you tweak maybe a few words, and suddenly, it's brilliant. So why exactly does that happen?
Well, the reason is beautifully simple. Using AI is exactly like giving directions to a brand new employee. Listen, AI is not a mind reader. It doesn't know your overarching business goals, it doesn't know your specific brand tone, and it certainly doesn't know what's currently sitting in your inbox. Its output relies entirely on the quality of the instructions you provide. You really need to think of your AI as a highly capable but completely inexperienced new hire. If they fail a task, let's be honest, it's usually because the manager, and yep, that's you, gave poor instructions.
That brings us right into section 2, managing your digital employee. Let's actually look under the hood at how this eager new hire processes your requests. Let's look at the true definition of prompt engineering. Honestly, it's just the art of writing better instructions. You're explicitly telling the AI what you want, how you want it, who the audience is, and the expected format. You see, an AI like ChatGPT doesn't really think the way you or I do. It literally just looks at the words you typed and mathematically predicts the most appropriate next words. That's it. If you give it absolutely nothing to work with, it just defaults to a really generic, unhelpful average.
Imagine walking right up to a human employee, dropping a massive stock of papers on their desk and just saying, "Do some work." I mean, they would stare at you, completely bewildered. But if you walk up and say, "Hey, create a 1-page sales report in Excel before 5 p.m., you are almost guaranteed to get exactly what you need. AI works the exact same way. It all comes back to that oldest rule in business: garbage in equals garbage out. A vague input is always going to lead to a vague output.
Moving right along to section 3, the 4-part communication framework. Now pay attention, because this right here is the secret sauce. This is the core strategy that is going to solve your delegation dilemma once and for all.
This 4-part formula is basically your ultimate corporate communication checklist. Whether you're delegating to a human or an AI, this structure guarantees absolute clarity. We've got objective, context, constraints, and output format. When you use all 4 of these building blocks together, you completely eliminate that garbage out scenario. So, let's break down how to actually build your perfect prompt step by step.
Step 1 is the objective. You literally must state exactly what you want. Please, don't leave it open to interpretation. Do you want it to summarize an article? Write a blog post? Explain a complex topic like Java programming? Or maybe create a list of rigorous interview questions? Clearly defining the goal is the unshakable foundation of your management request. Because without a crystal clear objective, your digital employee is just wandering around in the dark, guessing at what might make you happy.
Now, step 2 is context. And honestly, this is where so many managers completely drop the ball. You have to give background. Let's say you want a LinkedIn post. Instead of just commanding, "Write a LinkedIn post," you need to tell the AI why you're writing it. For instance, tell it, "I am announcing that I completed a Java Spring Boot certification after 6 months of study." Adding the specific background context is the secret to preventing the AI from delivering a generic, robotic response that sounds like literally everyone else on the internet. It grounds the task in your actual business reality.
Step 3 is constraints. You've got to limit the AI, because left to its own devices, AI absolutely loves to ramble. It will happily hand you a 5-page essay when you just wanted a quick summary. You must set boundaries. Tell it to keep the response under 200 words. Instruct it to use a professional tone, to aggressively avoid using emojis, or to strictly use bullet points. Setting these constraints keeps your digital employee focused and ensures the final product perfectly matches your corporate environment. And finally, step 4, the output format. Just tell the AI exactly how to structure its answer. Do you need the data organized in a table? Do you want a step-by-step guide, a drafted email, or maybe some specific developer formats like Markdown or JSON? Dictating the final format up front saves you the massive headache of having to copy, paste, and reformat all the AI's work yourself. Remember, you are the manager. You get to dictate exactly how the final deliverable should look before the work even begins.
All right, Section 4, Case Studies and Delegation. Now it's time for some performance reviews. We're going to look at some live before and after case studies just to prove how powerful this framework is in action.
So, consider the lazy manager's prompt. Write an Instagram caption. The output you get from that is going to be incredibly dull and entirely useless for your brand. Now let's apply our framework for a much more authoritative, targeted prompt. Write an Instagram caption promoting my grocery store. Target audience, families in Vadodara. Tone, friendly, maximum 100 words. Include 5 hashtags. Boom! That brilliantly illustrates how our 4 steps transform a generic, thoughtless request into highly targeted, immediately usable marketing copy on the very first try.
Here's another scenario. Simply commanding an AI to teach Java is a recipe for disaster. It's just way too broad, and the AI will undoubtedly spit out this overwhelming, textbook-sized encyclopedia of information. But look what happens when we refine it using our coaching tools. Teach Java collections to a beginner using diagrams, examples, and quiz questions. See the difference? Once again, the AI only delivers an amazing, perfectly tailored answer when you step up to the plate and actually manage it properly with detailed directions.
Which brings us to Section 5, Common Managerial Mistakes. Let's pivot for a second to the specific pitfalls you absolutely must avoid if you want to stop getting frustrated with your AI tools.
There are 4 major mistakes we consistently see in the corporate world. Mistake 1 is being too short, asking it to just explain AI and basically hoping for a miracle. Mistake 2 is providing zero context, saying write code without specifying the language, the framework, or the end goal. Mistake 3 is making way too many requests at once. Look, I want to explicitly warn you against bundling completely different tasks into a single prompt. Don't ask your AI to write website copy, generate a logo, create a marketing plan, and write code all in one breath. Break them into steps. And finally, mistake 4 is not refining your prompts, which just means accepting a mediocre first draft instead of pushing for excellence.
Let's actually expand on that last mistake, because professional prompting is an iterative loop. Let's be real. Professionals rarely get the absolute perfect answer on their very first try. You have to ask follow-up questions to refine the work. It's exactly like giving encouraging, constructive feedback on a junior employee's first draft. You review what the AI gave you and you guide it. You say things like, hey, make it shorter, or use a more formal tone, or explain this concept with an analogy. This dynamic back and forth, that is exactly how you polish good output into great output.
And finally, Section 6, your first management challenge. We've covered the theory, the framework, and the pitfalls. Now it's time to actually put this masterclass into practice.
Okay, so I am issuing a direct challenge to all the managers and professionals watching this right now. Don't just passively consume this explainer. I want you to open your AI tool right now, dig up an old, previously failed, totally frustrating prompt you've used in the past, and rewrite it using today's formula. Give it an objective, context, constraints, and an output format. Then compare the new answer to the old one. I promise you, you will immediately see an incredible difference in output quality when you finally step into the role of an effective digital manager.
And look, we are just scratching the surface here. Coming up in part 2 of this explainer series, we're going to dive so much deeper into advanced management frameworks for AI. We'll be covering the CRA framework, the RTF framework, and a super fascinating technique called persona prompting. It is essentially a corporate superpower. It literally allows you to make the AI think like a highly specific expert, whether that's a senior developer, a master marketer, or a seasoned designer. You absolutely will not want to miss it.
Before we wrap up, I just want to leave you with one final provocative thought. How much time could you save today if you just communicated clearly with your AI? Seriously, think about the countless hours you've wasted rewriting generic copy or fixing bad code just because your initial instructions were vague. Mastering this architecture isn't just about using technology better. It is about reclaiming your time through crystal clear delegation. So, take the challenge, apply the framework, and see what your digital direct report can really do. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you in part 2.